Season's greetings, everyone. So glad you are with us to celebrate this most wonderful time of the year. I'm your host, Theodore Henry, taking you through this informative half-hour journey on Jamaica Magazine. Coming up, how you can care for older adults at Christmas to keep the holiday cheer among this group. And you know how it goes, we tend to let loose and eat a little too much of this and that during the holidays, so we'll talk with you about managing diabetes. Stick around for the details. 'Tis the season to be jolly, but amidst the challenges of COVID-19 and the need for physical distance, some of our elderly and those confined indoors might be left a little bit lonely. We here at the JIS want you to reach out and spread cheer even as you take the necessary precautions. Here is what you can do.
Isolation. That's how some older adults would describe 2020. The repeated restrictions on elderly persons going out to work and elsewhere were necessary, but still overwhelming for some.
Now we have to remember the reason for this season, and it's also a time for giving. And so we need to look out for our elderly and shut-in persons within our communities. So for example, our Citizens Association should promote knowing who your neighbor is. Who are those elderly persons or shut-ins within your community that may need some greater assistance?
This Christmas, more than before, seniors may feel lonely as the pandemic rules linger. So consider how your holiday plans may be modified to include grandma, grandpa, or that elderly person you know will be alone during the festivities. The Yuletide season is centered on love and togetherness, and no one, especially those who have toiled to build their communities, should feel forgotten. Yes, if you're an adult with certain medical conditions who is at increased risk of severe illness from COVID-19, you should avoid in-person gatherings with people who do not live in your household. That does not, however, stop or should prevent seniors from being a part of the holiday celebrations. Here are some tips on how to spread cheer to the elderly during this season of love. Celebrate virtually. On the days leading up, consider reaching out to the elderly and ask if they would be inclined for a games night online. It could be as simple as a karaoke or sharing of old-time stories. Prepare a traditional family dish, something you know your older relatives will like, and have it delivered to their home. Having a virtual dinner and sharing recipes with friends and family is in line with the spirit of virtual events in 2020.
So you want to be able to still engage and to interact socially. Let's do it virtually. So you yourselves within your household and your family, and then you set up your TV or your laptop or your tablet and have a virtual sit-down dinner.
Watch church online. This could be on Christmas Day for morning service and the Sundays preceding and following Christmas and New Year's Sunday services. At the community, make a list of neighboring older adults and give them a ring on Christmas Day. Community associations or groups of individuals may host caroling sessions at the homes of seniors on Christmas Day.
While you can go and spread cheer by caroling, but even when caroling, make sure you're wearing your masks so that with this singing, we are not necessarily transmitting.
Groups may also plan and host a drive-by gift drop-off. The gifts could be delivered on Christmas Eve or on the day. Let's cherish our seniors. After all, they have been doing the same for us all our lives. They should not be left out of the festivities or feel lonely during this period.
season for giving and receiving, and today on Western Roundup, we look at how agencies have been giving to citizens of Jamaica. And of course, we also highlight agencies that have received some well-needed gifts. Soon come.
A free Wi-Fi hotspot was recently commissioned into service in the resort town of Ocho Rios, and residents are giving the wave of approval for the initiative.
I think it is a very good initiative, a very good program, especially for the town of Ocho Rios and for the people, especially in a time like this when persons are finding it so difficult, especially to affording data and especially for the kids. I think an initiative like this will go far in helping those persons in connecting to the internet.
Well, I feel it's an extremely extraordinary move, because there's so many that is struggling with affording Wi-Fi. I don't know how well it would work as it relates to schoolwork, because it's a public area. Of course, it is a good move, and it's more so I'm thinking in line of school children.
Even visitors to the town had high praises for the initiative and are suggesting that the project be replicated all across the country.
Frankly, I think this is a wonderful opportunity for persons who actually can't afford the cost of the internet service, and actually they are out of bound. To see this happening in Ocho Rios, I look forward to see it happening in all the little villages across Jamaica. And again, I wanted to commend the person behind this to oversee things there. Because I was just saying to a colleague of mine, our youngsters want to see something new and different, not exactly what we used to. And for those who created this idea, I give them my thumb up. Wonderful experience.
The installation was undertaken by the Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology through the Universal Service Fund. Public Wi-Fi hotspots are already in operation at Emancipation Park, Mandela Park, St. William Grant Park, Olympic Way and Devon House in Kingston and St. Andrew, Cecil Charlton Park in Mandeville, Chapelton and Maypen in Clarendon, Junction St. Elizabeth, Montego Bay St. James, and Anotta Bay in St. Mary. Over in St. Elizabeth, the firefighters at the Santa Cruz Fire Station received a new skid unit, which will enable them to better respond to bushfires.
St. Elizabeth was specifically identified because it is the policy of the government to develop agriculture on a level where our food security over time can be secured, so to speak. And St. Elizabeth is the parish that is leading in that regard. And since the start of this year, we would have received approximately 808 fire calls for this parish up to the end of October. 364 of those were bushfires, and 44 of those occurred on farmlands. And while there are other divisions such as St. Catherine, which is a little bit bigger than St. Elizabeth, while they may have a higher call count as it relates to bushfires, we believe, based on our analysis, that the impact that is suffered by farmers in St. Elizabeth, or the land that burn in St. Elizabeth, the impact that has is far more greater than what we will see in St. Catherine. And so the decision was taken by the management of the fire brigade in discussions, of course, with the Met Office, to place the first skid unit in this division.
The unit, which is mounted on the back of a pickup truck, boasts a manual reel, a pump, and a 125-gallon water tank.
On behalf of the parish, I want to thank the fire service for bringing this equipment here today to make life a lot easier and to give the fire service the ability to better respond to these incidents whensoever they shall occur.
The skid unit was procured through a partnership with the Meteorological Service of Jamaica Met Office with funding from the Caribbean Development Bank CDB. Finally, the Negril campus of the Western Hospitality Institute now has a skills training center. The center, which was rehabilitated, now houses 8 bedrooms to be utilized as housekeeping labs, a library, computer room, and 3 classrooms.
The facility is expected to further strengthen program delivery in tourism and hospitality education.
Renovated training center building facility, which will provide the requisite skills and training for school leavers or unattached youth to continue their academic or vocational training. I do hope that the Western Hospitality Institute will continue to thrive and improve based upon the foundation now in place.
We, the people of Jamaica, and by extension, Board of Directors, management and staff, and students of Western Hospitality Institute, is extremely grateful, humbled, and thankful to the people of Japan and your government for their significant contribution to nation building through the Japanese grassroots project to a developing country such as Jamaica, whereby children from depressed communities here in Negril and adjoining communities in Westmoreland can access quality education in a comfortable environment.
The $10 million project was undertaken through funding from the government of Japan through the grant assistance for grassroots human security projects.
Let us know if you enjoyed the program by sending us your feedback to jismobe@jis.gov.jm. As usual, thanks for watching Western Roundup, where we take you from the corners of St. Elizabeth to the hilly terrains of St. Anne. Until next time, take care.
Know your numbers and control the keys to a healthier heart. Know the numbers for your blood pressure, cholesterol level, blood glucose level, and your weight and body mass index. Find out the risks they represent and what you need to do to stay healthy. Talk to your doctor and start making healthy lifestyle choices to prevent a heart attack or stroke.
In our HealthWise segment today, we explore the holistic management of diabetes. Keep watching to learn all you need to know.
Diabetes is a serious chronic lifestyle disease affecting millions of people over the world and continues to increase. Diabetes affects how your body turns food into energy. It is a disease in which your blood glucose or blood sugar levels are too high, and glucose comes from the food you eat. Insulin is a hormone that helps the glucose get into your cells to give energy. Sometimes your body doesn't make enough or any at all, doesn't make any insulin, and so it doesn't use the insulin well. Glucose then stays in your blood and doesn't reach your cells. Over time, having too much glucose in your blood can cause complications. Example, situations with the kidney, heart disease, and so on. Although diabetes has no cure, there are steps you can take to manage your diabetes and stay healthy.
It is through lifestyle that we manage the risk of diabetes. Those behaviors include increased physical activity, a healthy diet, routine health checks, and strict adherence to medication. The ministry will be championing the cause of persons living with diabetes. We have updated our clinical management guidelines, which is now available on our website, and we will be working on increasing access to testing through the introduction of point-of-care testing. This methodology of testing is the gold standard for monitoring and control of diabetes. Our agency, the National Health Fund, will continue to support persons through the provision of diabetic medication and supplies, and I encourage persons with diabetes to enroll in the NHF card program to access this benefit.
The person with diabetes should really have an opportunity to sit down with a trained clinician who is able to help them to understand the concepts of diabetes self-management, education, and support. There are 4 core areas the patient must begin to understand. How and when to take medication. That's the first one. If you take insulin, then you need to know how does your insulin work and how do you eat in relation to the insulin. Then there are the people who have type 2 diabetes, which commonly start off with education on activity and just healthy nutrition. And then we add 1 of 5 classes of oral agents. And then we teach them how to make food, how to eat food. Also, we think of things like target blood pressure. Is your weight healthy, or do you need to lose a little weight? And most importantly, how do you feel? What is your quality of life? All of this is what we focus on. Also, when you get your lab work done, what is your hemoglobin A1C? The target should be 7% or less. Keep that number in your mind. Diabetes damages the feet, the kidney, and the eyes at first, and then eventually we also find it can cause coronary vascular disease too. But for foot care, the person with diabetes every day, you wash your feet, wash them properly. Dry your feet, dry between the toes. Moisturize your feet, but do not put moisturizer between the toes. Make sure that you wear cotton socks, right? If you're going to have your toes cut by somebody trained who knows how to cut them. Examine your feet every day. Do not walk barefoot. Please, please, please do not walk barefooted, because if you injure or cause trauma to the feet, you may not feel it because your diabetes has damaged the nerves to the feet. And finally, when you buy shoes that are comfortable and that you can wear without causing blisters or trauma to the feet. Now we have research that shows that I can prevent the eye damage, the kidney damage, the foot damage, and the amputations by just keeping my blood glucose under control and taking care of myself.
There's no such thing as a diabetic diet, but it's all about how much I eat, the timing of my meals. So it's your portion sizes is what is important. Now, what we do recommend is that persons eat at least 3 balanced meals per day and small snacks. Snacks usually mean smaller, more nourishing meals, which we usually recommend that it be your fruits, your vegetables, or you can also use your nuts. Each meal or snack should contain protein because we need it to be balanced as well. Each meal should contain at least your protein and your fat, and we also want them to select a variety of foods from all the food groups. So there is some recommendations about the amount of fruits that you should eat per day. We usually say 2 to 3 servings. We want you to include a variety of vegetables daily. We also want you to include more peas, beans, and nuts in your daily meals. Reduce your intake of salty and processed foods, and to reduce your intake of fats and oils, and that of sugary foods and drinks. You aim for foods that have high sources of fiber, such as your whole wheat bread, whole grain rice, flour, more of your ground provisions. They will give you fiber, right? And that will slow down the rate at which your body breaks down the food, so you won't have a rapid increase in your blood sugar levels versus if you eat foods that are low in these added fibers. When you're having alcohol as a person living with diabetes is not to have it on an empty stomach, because it gives the risk of lowering your blood sugar. And also what we want you to do is that once you have diabetes, we do not really recommend the mixed drinks, so as to say, because they usually have a sweetened base. For women, it's usually you can have a drink per day, and for men is no more than 2 drinks. And what is a drink? Usually for beer, it's not more than 12 ounces. And for like a shot, is usually a shot, which is about 1.5 ounces. And for wine, recommendation is usually about 5 ounces thereabout.
There are several researches that have shown that physical activity, when done properly, for persons who are diabetic, again, you heard it, allows you to use up glucose For children, the recommendation is at least 60 minutes, 5 days a week of moderate to vigorous activity, and it must be a combination of muscle and bone strengthening activity. That's the recommendation for our children. For adults, it's at least 30 minutes, 5 days a week to get some health benefit, meaning increased circulation, reduced stress. And for the elderly, it's at least 30 minutes, 5 days a week. If you're a diabetic patient, these are some of the activities that are very good for you. Swimming, jogging, dancing, these activities, they're not very vigorous. You maintain them at a low to moderate pace, and it's a very effective way of managing and controlling your blood glucose or your blood sugar. If you are going to start a physical activity program, that you check with your doctor before you start, because if you have a condition, if you're diabetic, hypertensive, you have any other medical condition, your doctor will determine the intensity level, the type of activities that you can do.
Persons living with diabetes mellitus have multiple psychosocial issues related to diabetes management and its complications even before COVID. And there's an entity called diabetic distress, which refers to the negative emotions such as feeling hopeless, angry, or frustrated that persons who are diagnosed with diabetes experience, especially if they lack social support. I must mention we have the mental health helpline, which is 888-639-5433, or simply remember 888-NEW-LIFE, which is a 24-hour, 7 days per week psychological support produced by psychologists. When you call this number, they can provide emotional support for you. If you are feeling any form of emotional distress, they can provide support for you, and where you need additional help, they will direct you to additional help.
During the holiday period, we tend to generate excessive garbage, and no one wants that sitting around for too long, especially when it's exposed. Thanks to the work of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, we can get through the task of properly disposing our garbage. But the NSWMA encourages that before they come to collect our waste, we must first bag it and bin it. Learn more in this next feature.
The initiative is fairly good because at the moment currently we don't have enough disposals in Bethel Street. So I find the initiative very good and I do appreciate it, and I would like to say thanks very much, and I look forward to seeing other great things from the company.
We are here in Manchester on Bethel Street. We have launched a program called Drum at the Gate. The purpose of this program is to encourage residents that it's important for them to containerize their garbage properly.
In this community, we issued 80 bins today, and I just want to thank the Grace Kennedy and the EdgeChem group that would have partnered with us to donate drums. We are issuing drums to residents so that they can containerize their garbage properly and to reduce the time it takes for our workers to be held in the environment cleaning garbage. We expect to see greater efficiency and turnaround time when we have residents containerizing garbage in these densely populated areas. So the residents are happy for this initiative, and we expect to replicate same across the island. We'll do it in phases. We only start in Mandeville today, but there are a number of communities that we'll be doing.
This project is the safety of our workers. Just recently, one of our sanitation workers, they were putting together the garbage in Clarendon, and an eagle took him recently. Now we are saying that we want to ensure the safety of our workers. Number two, we want to ensure that our schedule, they are completed on a timely basis. So the time it takes us to pull the garbage together and to pack it up, put it in the truck, we are losing time.
When the garbage is thrown all over the place, it creates an awful sight and damages the aesthetic of the community. People want clean surroundings. So I encourage the people of Bethel Street and surrounding areas in Greendale to use these drums as we prescribe them to be used. The stress that it put on our crew when they have to come and clean up instead of just taking up a drum, emptying it and moving. We want to move from your gate as quickly as possible. We have a lot of places to cover. Sometimes the one truck is doing several communities, 10 communities, 20 communities. The more back down that truck gets, the less opportunity we have to go to the other community. So the turnaround time is affected, and that put a problem on us right across. So we're giving you a drum, and we plan to come for the drum every Wednesday. We'll come for the drum. So it's not a drum that will create any mosquitoes for you, because we pour the bottoms of the drum, so there won't be any mosquitoes also, any problem, right? Do I have your permission to leave a drum? Yes, sir. All right.
I feel good and happy about it, knowing that my city will keep clean and nice.
We love what go on, because right now, you see this rubbish thing here, it a get to me, and I get to the community at Grimville, Bethel Street. Whole heap of rubbish up on the roadside more time. And here what go on now. You see what the item do right now with them drum here are the best thing ever. Cause if the rubbish truck no come, a dog come jar where the rubbish them. Pay things in our lane, pay things in our road. So what we no do are the right thing we no do. Me love this.
If a man see place clean, he think twice. But if he come and he see 3 buckets throw down there, him not think twice again, you know. He believes he can throw back to there. So it creates a dump. When the rain fall, the water when naturally run and look somewhere to go. Carry the bucket with it. When it go down in a level there is a little area where the water go through. But the bucket too big to go through, so the bucket stop. And then it creates a blockage. When the water get blocked up, because of how water behave, the water rise and people place flood out. Sometimes the couple drinks bottle and the couple food box and the couple juice box that cause a major flooding because it block up a waterway. And me and your neighbor get flood out.
With that, we end today's journey on Jamaica Magazine. You've been great company, and be sure to join us again tomorrow for another show. Until then, continue to watch these and other programs by logging on to our website, jis.gov.jm, or subscribing to our YouTube channel. You can also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's both Android and iOS compatible. Until we meet again, walk good from all of us here at the JIS.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.